Got enough
It's
light
your
on
turn
this
next
side, Dave?
month.
Plenty of light.
Next month.
Yeah, you guys are going to be on This Is Your Life.
Have to study up about Uncle Canute.
Uncle Canute. Oh, he's
What
got a lot of
about-
stories,
what-
Uncle
what are we
Canute.
What are you supposed to talk about if you
I don't know.
didn't come from a foreign country?
Oh, I had a lot of questions for you.
I didn't come from a
For me?
foreign country.
Sure, I didn't come for
Okay,
I
yeah.
didn't come from foreign
Okay.
country.
You better let me know what
Ready?
they are, so I'll
Yeah.
answer you.
Right.
right?
All right, we're ready to start this thing here.
Next month. Set aside the date, 15th of next month for you.
Ready to
People
go?
involved,
All right.
talk please.
Dad, you were born in U.S., right?
Yeah, on the 3rd Street.
103rd Street and what?
Perry, wasn't
Near State Street,
Your State Street. Well, that's-
347.
That's real close to where we ended up
Yeah,
living
yeah,
then.
that's right.
You lived there for what, about a year?
A year when I went to the
Then
Oakland.
you went back to the Oakland.
Yeah.
Now that was with Pallay, your real father.
No, my mother went back there.
he? No, but I mean,
When you were
lived
born.
on, when you,
When
where
I
you
was
were
born, I
born.
was my real father.
But you never knew him.
I never knew him.
But your when did soon after you were born did Grandma divorce your dad?
3 years after.
3 years
I was
after.
3 years old.
But you were back in Hungary by
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
So she divorced him in Hungary.
Yeah.
Did Grandma Schuster have relatives in Hungary when she went back?
She went with Dad's, his dad's parents.
To my dad's parents, I went.
That's where she
Oh,
went to.
with your real
Pallay.
dad's parents?
Yeah.
Okay. But
So your
because-
grandfather?
Yeah.
Is that right?
what was your grandfather's name in
I
Hungary?
never knew that.
It was Pallay.
And what was his first name?
John.
John, like your dad?
Yeah.
Did you know him at all, Grandpa?
I don't know. I
You don't remember him?
I don't remember him, no.
What kind of work did your grandfather do
He
in
was
Hungary?
a chimney sweeper.
In Hungary?
Yeah.
But Grandma Schuster had relatives in Chicago, didn't she? Her mother.
Yeah, her mother
Her
and
father.
her 2 sisters and her brother-in-law.
Why'd she choose to go back to Hungary?
My mother was sick, and
Ah.
the doctor thought that maybe a change of climate
Would help her.
help her. So she went to Europe, and then my second dad,
After she got her divorce.
no,
Well, she had to have a
She got
second
her-
dad.
wait a minute.
Badinsky.
Yeah, wait a minute. Do you know his history better than he does?
My
or what?
second dad,
Yeah.
my second dad was over here, but he wasn't married to my mother yet.
Then he
And,
went back to Hungary too?
He went back to Hungary, and then he
Married?
got married, and he was a foreman in a furniture factory.
How old were
What
you,
was your
Grandpa?
What was your second dad's name?
Nievelt.
Nievelt.
Yeah, Nievelt.
I never knew what his
Yeah.
name was. What was his
Yeah.
first name?
Frank.
Ah.
Frank Nievelt.
Was he a nice man?
What?
Was he a nice man? Do you remember him?
Yeah, I remember him.
Was he Hungarian or German or?
He was Hungarian.
Uh-huh.
How old were you, Grandpa?
Well, when he first married my mother,
Yeah,
4 years old.
4 years old.
Yeah.
Jesus.
What year was that?
Oh, Jesus.
You were born in
Well, you were
1904.
1903.
1908 I was
He was
born.
born 1908.
Okay, so that was
1912.
1912.
12, yeah.
That's just when World War I was breaking
Yeah.
out, right?
Then when the World War started, my dad had to go in the army because he didn't have the United States
Citizenship.
citizenship. So he had to go in the army and went to Russia.
So he went to the Hungarian army.
Hungarian army and went to Russia.
He
So
was
he fought on Germany's side because the Hungarians were on
Yeah,
Germany's
yeah.
side.
And then when they captured him,
Captured him. They took-
then he went to Russia as a prisoner and he died there.
In
Oh.
Siberia, I thought your mother said.
No, not Siberia.
That's what your mother used to say.
No.
So then he died during the war.
During the war he died.
And you were.
I was over there then,
over where?
in Hungary.
And you were about what, 4 or 5? Did you say?
Well,
Well-
I was about 6.
Yeah.
When the war started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd you live in Hungary when you first there? Budapest?
In a small town named Losonc.
What was it like there?
During the war,
Yeah.
well, we had nothing to eat,
Uh huh.
and we used to get 1 ear of corn, a regular big corn, and we used to peel it off and put it on the stove and fry it and eat it.
That was all you had for a day?
That's all we had for a day,
Huh.
for weeks at a time.
Well, you were out in the village. Couldn't you raise your own food? Did you have your own?
No,
They,
land?
they
no.
were living in a boxcar.
Yeah, because when the Russians come towards us, then we get in a boxcar and we move ahead, in Hungary. When the Russians go back, then we move back again, see.
But did you ever go back to the village you were living in? Or
Yeah, we were going in and out,
Right.
go from Losons to Budapest, to Losons, and back and forth like this, but in boxcars. We lived in boxcar. 8 families lived in a boxcar.
Did they have a toilet in the boxcar?
No.
Well, what'd you do when you had to wait till the train stopped, right?
And then it stopped. That's
Or cut a hole in the bottom
Yeah.
of the car, right?
It stopped.
Well,
And
So the government had these trains, and
Yeah,
the
the
government
government.
would take you different places.
And every time we stopped in a different town, they had the army out there to give us lunch,
Uh-huh.
The army cooked in a big kettles, and stew and stuff like that, and feed us.
Hmm. Hmm.
Then,
I'm sorry, Grandma. Were you ever kept appraised of the war? I mean, what did they tell the people then? How you're doing? I mean, what did they say? Or what did you know? It's just moving back and forth in the trains, and that's
we
it?
knew when we were moving back that the Russians were coming. We were moving ahead.
We knew they were
The
retreating.
Russians were going back.
What about newspapers? I mean,
Oh, we had no newspaper those days.
because of the war?
Well, because of the war, yeah.
Your mom wouldn't. I mean,
No,
There was no newspapers being printed
No.
because the land was being,
Back
passed
and
over
forth.
left and right. There were no newspapers coming down. Well, who was in the boxcar with you? Your mother? How about your grandparents?
no, my grandparents were here.
Oh, that's right. Your grandparents were
Yeah.
here.
What about
Hearing.
your other
No, they were
grandparents?
they were dead already then.
Ah. Oh.
So-
What about your little brother? Was he dead already?
No, he was my little brother lived with us till he was 12 years old. Then he
What
died.
was your brother's name?
Zoltan.
Zoltan.
Zoltan?
Was did your mother have him with your second father?
Yeah.
Okay.
How many brothers and sisters did you have, Grandpa?
I just had one sister and one brother.
You had Zoltan
Zoltan and my
Yeah,
sister
Marge.
Marge.
and Aunt Marge.
What did he die of?
Influenza.
Was that was a big
Yeah.
epidemic?
Flu
in those days,
epidemics
yeah.
that a lot of
Yeah.
people were dying.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about your folks, Ma? Where'd you?
From Italy.
When did your dad come from Italy?
I don't know. I think he must have been about 25 or so. Cause
When he came over
yeah,
Well, what
because
part
he worked in Germany first. From Italy, he went
to
to
Germany? Then
and
from Germany he came over here?
worked in the coal mines in Germany.
Well, what part of Italy? I'm sorry, I don't even know.
He come from a province of Piemonte.
Which is
Northern
south,
Italy, right?
Northern Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he came to U.S., did he go right to Southern Illinois or
No, he went to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh first? See, that's where you got
Pennsylvania.
the
never told
He
me
went to
that.
Pennsylvania. Well, I don't know if he went to Pittsburgh, but he went to Pennsylvania.
All right.
He went to work in the coal
That
mines.
explains it all.
Yeah, I knew
It's in the
somehow
genes.
I got
He
in the
went to the
genes.
coal mines.
We'll see.
But he didn't like it.
And it's every other generation that kicks in. That's
He didn't
it.
like the coal mines in Pennsylvania, so he came back to
And the,
Illinois.
and the other big coal mines was in southern.
What made him go down to Southern Illinois? Do you have relatives down there?
Not Southern Illinois. He went to Danville.
Danville.
My mother was living in Danville, and all the friends that he come from Italy with were in Danville.
I see. So your mother was already here then.
Yeah, she was with her half sister
Okay. So your mom came over
on the same boat
with your dad?
with my dad, and also with Aunt Vera's dad.
Huh.
Is that
Yeah.
where they met on the boat, or
They were friends in Italy.
they were, your mom and dad were friends in
Yeah,
Italy?
they knew each other in Italy,
Well, then they sort of
and so
separated.
did Aunt Vera's.
So they sort of separated. Then he came back to Danville, and they met each other, right?
Yeah,
And then
they
they
got
got-
married out in Westville or Danville.
When did he buy the farm?
I was 5 years old
Mm.
when we moved to the farm. We were all born in West Frankfort except Uncle Louis.
Where was he born?
He was born in Belair.
In Bel Air.
What do you remember about your father? I mean, what kind of man was he?
I remember my dad being drunk every day. That's it. And he remembered being a cold, no affection, I never seen him kiss my mother until she was dead. But that's,
Did he still work in the mines then and farm both?
he worked in the mine until the strike, when they had the strike. He was only 50, I think he was 55, and then he never got a job again.
Okay. Then he just worked the farm then.
Then he had the kids work the farm while he
Well, he worked.
he helped a
Yeah.
little bit, yeah, and worked the garden.
Well, he also raised his own wine. I remember he had his own wine.
No, he bought the grapes. He had some
Yes.
wines.
Yeah, he had some grapes.
He had
I remember.
some grapes,
Yeah,
but
because I remember.
But he bought two what do they call them?
Wine-
2 tons.
Yeah. Because I remember he had the wine presses, and I remember he
He
used to
bought
bottle.
2 tons of grapes every year.
What sort of jobs did you and your brothers and sisters have around the farm? Kind of
Well,
work.
Uncle Johnny and I worked plowing, cutting hay, and corn, milked the cows.
Oh, was this with machinery or was it?
Well, with the old time machinery, what they had, nothing automatic,
No
but the
tractors,
horses.
and the
You
mules,
walk
right?
back of the plow.
And you had outhouses?
And we had
Uh,
no house.
oh.
And we had no water.
What'd you do in the winter? I mean, you had to walk
Yeah,
out there in the
we went
winter?
out-
Yeah.
We went outside, yeah.
Wasn't it cold?
Of course it was cold. We had no water either, you know.
There's no running water in the house?
No, no electricity.
Is that's tradition then too,
That's
right?
how you got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Then in the winter time, you just run out and run back.
Do your business?
Yeah.
Well, see, they didn't have electricity
No electricity.
because I remember the lamps. They had no running water because I remember the pump.
Yeah.
And then they had no indoor facility.
No.
Remember, I remember when we used to take our
Oh,
baths
you remember, in the tub,
in the tub.
outside,
Because they used to heat the water
by the sun.
on the stove, and then they pour it in. And Uncle Al I would flip to see who went in first because it was 2 to a bathtub. You weren't going to throw out the water just because one guy took a bath, because you had to heat the water.
You
and-
had to heat the water.
the
In
s-
summertime, we used to heat the water by the sun. You know, outside, you put it out when the water got warm in the sun, then
You
we
also
took a
used to
bath.
have to barrel used to collect the rainwater too. Remember?
Yeah,
from
that
the
was
farm.
for your hair.
How would you do that?
Because that was better to wash
For
your
your hair.
hair and stuff.
How would you collect it? I mean,
We had a
wooden
cistern,
bell
what
out
they
there.
call a cistern.
They had a barrel next
No,
to.
it
Underneath
was a
a drain or
cistern.
something?
It was just like a well.
But there was also a barrel. I remember.
Yeah. Well,
And
it
the water used
run
to
there.
run off the wall, the
Yeah.
pipe into the barrel.
you mean off the top of the house?
Off the
house.
house.
Yeah.
And you would collect it?
Yeah.
Because it was soft water.
As
And we-
opposed to
as
Southern
opposed to-
Illinois.
And we'd water the garden with that too.
So you had a pump to get the water out of it?
No, that didn't have a pump. That we used to pull up with the bucket.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
The rainwater.
The rainwater.
Yeah.
The rainwater?
The other water you
that
had a
we
pump.
drank, we had a pump.
Oh, wasn't that awful?
Well, I don't know who survived.
I've had well water before. Wasn't
That well water was good.
No, it was good. It didn't have that iron taste like
Yeah,
you get in
well,
some
water was
places. Because I remember we used to go on picnics. Some of the places would have iron
Yeah,
taste.
no,
But
that
not on the
was good
farm. It
water.
was good fresh water. You just
It
had
was a
to
real deep well they had.
pump what you wanted.
What did your mom do all this time? You know, your dad was working. Was she just a housewife
Just-
in those days?
She was a housewife. She had 9 kids, 4 dead, 5 alive. She had boarders, and she had to scrub all their clothes, plus my dad's work clothes.
You had boarders staying there too, huh?
Well, when we lived on the farm, she had boarders in West Frankfort, and then she had 2 boarders that lived in that little house. You remember
Yeah,
that little house?
little house in the back. Yeah.
Well, there was 2 men living there when we
Huh.
lived on the farm.
What kind of woman was she like? What do you remember about your mom?
My mother was too good for my dad. You remember that?
Uh-huh.
She was a
What
very,
do
She
you mean
was
by
good.
that?
She was good.
Uh-huh. Sounds like she was a
With
hard
everybody.
worker. Yeah.
She worked too
very
hard.
loving person. I remember
She
that.
worked too
Yeah.
hard.
What was her name?
Margaret Margarita, we call her, or in Italian.
She was a Margaret too.
She was Margarita
And what was your dad's name?
Savarino.
Severino.
I
Didn't
want to hear you pronounce the last name.
Who?
What's-
Giacone?
Yeah, okay. Sounds better when Italian says it.
My mother's last name was Rita.
Mhm.
It was R-I-C-T-I.
Did you know your grandparents at all on either side?
No,
'Cause they
my
were-
mother was an orphan.
Ah, your mom was from Orphan.
Yeah.
And your dad
My dad left his there.
in Italy.
Yeah.
Huh. Where'd you go to school at?
I started in Blair.
In Blair? How far was that from the farm? I'm trying to remember.
It was close to 2 miles.
And you walked it in the snow and...
We walked
yeah,
in the
you bet.
morning, and we walked at night. And when we got older, we milked the cows before we went to school.
And when you got home at night, right?
And then we milked the cows again.
After you got your allowance, right?
Well, I'd be kidding.
So you took your lunch to school then, right?
How far a walk was it?
It was close to 2 miles
Where'd you go to high school at?
in Blair.
You were there?
Yeah, went 2 years.
2 years in high school?
Yeah.
And then you dropped out. We have a dropout here, gang.
I dropped out because my dad kept telling me I was lazy to go to work.
Ah,
Is that right?
Yes,
He didn't want you to go to school, he wanted you to...
he wanted us to go to work as soon as we were. I went to work at 15
where'd
in
you
a
go?
factory in Detroit
So you left, when you dropped out of high school, you went to Detroit.
with Alma and Gista.
Ah,
He wanted all three. He wanted.
Well,
two of
Lena
the
and Alma
kids?
got married
were they were already married when you?
when I left.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why would he want you to leave the farm? I would think he would have
because there
wanted
was
you
no
to there.
work.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
he wasn't working. There was no money, so we worked and sent money home
Oh, I see.
from the little bit we earned.
So Alma and Geese that were down there then, and
No, they were in Detroit when I was. And then when they went back, I went back.
they went back to the farm?
When the mine started up, used to went back.
But did Uncle Geese still work in the mines down there? Is that where
Yeah.
Aunt Alma met him?
Yeah. So they went back, and I went back with them. But Lena and Manuel were in Chicago, so I came up to Chicago then and
Huh.
stayed with Lena.
So you lived with Aunt Lena then, in Pullman?
Yeah.
Huh. About where they're living now, or
No, they lived near
Two door away
two
from
doors
us.
from Grandpa.
2 doors away from
Shamrock.
Grandma? What street was that on?
That, that
No.
used to be Stevenson.
Stevenson, yeah, I remember that.
Remember Stevenson?
Yeah.
Does
then
that
they
lead up
changed
to the
it.
famous story of her, how you met, first saw Grandma?
Yeah.
Does that lead up? When was the
Okay,
first
let's
time
hear
you
the
saw
story.
her?
I worked in a bakery.
In a bakery?
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was about 16.
Okay.
No, you were older
No,
than that. Because
I was-
I was that old when I was in
16 or
Chicago.
17, I was in
You're
the-
5 years older than me,
Okay,
but you
okay.
were 21.
Oh, go on.
Well, you were, Joe.
I wasn't. I was
I
about
was 16.
18 the most.
Well,
when
if you're
I-
18, she was 13.
She was 13
I was
then.
15 when I was in Detroit. Then I went
Oh,
home.
okay, I was 18.
No, you were about 21.
Anyway,
Anyway, you're in Pullman.
Somewhere between
And,
18 and
yeah,
you
20.
both were in Pullman though, right?
So,
Is that true?
I worked. Had to go to work at 4 o'clock in the morning because I
In the bakery.
in the bakery because I was an oven man, take the bread and stuff out, you know, and she lived 2 doors away from us, and she had a boyfriend and 4 girls, and playing the guitar.
And you're 13, you had a boyfriend?
I was 16.
Well, you had a
or
boyfriend?
17,
Yeah.
17.
But you had a
by that
boyfriend
time.
at that
There
time?
was 3 or 4 boyfriends. I played the guitar. One of the guys played a mandolin,
And,
and one of them had something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played on the
window was
porch.
right
They made
off
the
of
Grand
the
Ole
porch,
Opry.
you know, and
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep, you know, dun, 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 and singing, you know.
What was she
So-
playing?
I
So,
played the guitar.
Italian songs.
An Italian
Country and
song?
Western.
so I said, I'll put a stop to that. So a couple of days after I made a date with her.
Was he good looking, Grandma?
Now wait a minute.
Who?
Grandpa.
Oh, I guess.
Or you wouldn't have gone out with her.
No.
Now,
I had a lot of
she had a girlfriend name was what was her name?
Sophie.
Sophie. See. And if I find that picture, I'm going to show it to you someday.
Oh.
But I looked for her, but she wore a aviator hat,
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so my boyfriend and I were having a date with them too. So my boyfriend says to Jenny, "You come and sit next to me." I said, "No, that's my girl." So we sit in a rumble seat. You know, they had a phone with the rumble seat.
Rumble seat.
Rumble seat action.
All right.
That was- Do you remember the rumble seat?
And Sophie and Henry, my boyfriend, sit in the front. So we went to the show, and then after we
Went dancing around, yeah.
danced, so after I started going studying with her, no more plays, you know.
No more guitar playing?
I went to work.
In peace, right?
Yeah, she didn't bother you.
So what'd you do on your first date? Is this when?
You went to a movie, I guess.
What was the
About-
movie?
We went to the
Oh,
movie.
geez.
William was hard.
How much did the movies cost back then?
Probably a quarter.
Quarter.
I think they used to cost 10
I
cents
was
when
gonna
you
say,
went for a half
Yeah.
price.
we used to give us, you used to give us
I
a
used to
quarter,
give you a quarter.
and we'd
Well,
go to
you
get a
get a
hamburger,
story.
go to the show and have popcorn
Yeah.
on a quarter.
Yeah.
Well, how long did you date before you got married?
I was about 17 and I was 19.
About 2 years. Was it steady? Did you date others?
Not steady.
Yeah, Grandpa, don't hate
Still playing the field, were you?
She was playing the field, so was I.
Aha.
Well, didn't you say you go to dances and then you'd have the first dance and the last dance?
Well, that
and
was
then-
when I was home.
Oh, okay.
Even when we went out. The first dance and the last
Yeah.
dance, that's all.
And in between you're on your
In
own?
between that, you dance with the good dancers.
Oh, a shot, I heard.
Yeah.
A shot.
I was doing the same thing. I was dancing.
You did?
No.
You didn't get insulted?
No, they like to dance with other girls too.
Everybody
Yeah.
changed partners.
I used to come from the old days where the girls would have a dance card and guys would
Yeah.
ask for a dance and they'd write them in.
cards, but he'd say, "Can I have the next dance?" Or, "Well, I got the next dance." Well, how about the second one?
Yeah.
And that's the way you'd.
So you'd fill up your card
It
that
was
way.
more fun than dancing with one
Well, what
person.
made you ask her to marry you?
Oh, yeah.
Because he couldn't get rid of me.
You already stopped the guitar playing. Okay, so that was done
Got
with.
peace and quiet.
All right.
So I couldn't get rid of her, so finally I said, well, might as well get married.
Oh, now, were you working full time then, Grandpa?
No, I didn't have a job.
You didn't have a job?
Nice guy.
She was
He,
working
I was working.
You-
He was working part-time
part-time in the gas station.
gas station.
Where were you working?
I was working the radio, where they made radio.
Oh, really?
Now wait a minute. I've always thought of you as a very sensible person. Now I've heard stories about Dad
No
and
sense.
how wild he was and chasing girls and
sense.
buying wild cards. Why would you marry him?
Because I had no sense.
Aha! You didn't have no sense then.
It had no sense.
Didn't you tell me, Dad, you used to get a job, save some money, buy a
Oh,
car,
yeah,
and quit
yeah,
for a year
Yeah, yeah.
while you chase women?
I never had a job. That's what I do. I get a job. I work for about 5 weeks. I never go out any place. Save the money. Then after 5 weeks, I tell the boss goodbye. I quit. Then I go out on a tear.
Until you ran out of money.
Then I run out of money. I get another job.
Is that how you met Al Capone?
Oh, Al Capone. I met him
Working at the
in a
gas station initially,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then at a speakeasy.
In a gas station and a speakeasy.
Now, how did you get into a speakeasy?
Oh, shit.
I mean, you
Well,
were a
it
clean-cut
It
man.
was easy getting a speaking.
All you had to do is have money.
And
not be a
Just
cop.
in between jobs.
Have money and know somebody to get in there.
All right.
The door, they had a little peephole, And when you go with that,
What did you say, swordfish or something?
Joe sent me.
then it's Joe. I go, I said, Bill sent me. Then
And they let you
check-
in?
Then they let me in.
And did you have the money to?
Oh, sure, you gotta have money.
Yeah. Otherwise,
He didn't have much money.
Oh, I always had money.
until you got married, right?
So I got married.
That was all done.
Then it didn't work, and then you got a job and was home when you were born.
Well,
Well,
so,
then I had to go.
so you didn't catch him on his peak years, right? He already blown all his money, right? You thought he was rich when you married him.
What was Chicago like during that time? I mean, was
Prohibition.
Prohibition?
Yeah.
I mean, was there like we see movies
Exciting.
with gangsters and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah,
that. Was that
yeah.
stuff going on all the time?
I don't know. I didn't see any. I know there was down when I was home was probation.
Uh huh.
My dad was arrested for keeping wine.
Was he?
Yeah.
For being a bootlegger.
In Southern Illinois?
Yeah.
They cared in there, down there?
Oh yeah, they had the revenues guys out all the
Is
time.
that right?
Raiding all the time.
Yeah, raiding.
Well, how about, an Italian and a Hungarian? Was that a big problem with families or with friends?
No.
Well, my dad always wanted all of us to marry who we wanted. None of us did.
Didn't your dad want you to marry Primo?
Yeah, because they had a farm.
He had the next farm, right?
Now we got about 5 farms.
Primo's still there.
What do you got, right?
Marry Primo, you could have owned most of Southern Illinois.
Yes, he has a lot of land. We saw him when we were down there.
You still got a
He never
chance.
did get married either.
He never did? He's still waiting for you, man.
You got a chance. You still got a chance. You wanna-
Yeah, I remember Primo. He was a
fine.
bald-headed guy.
He's still
Primo as in Carnera?
Primo.
That's an Italian name, isn't
this
it?
guy's father was so originally, everybody he named, like Primo means one, first.
Yeah, he only had one.
Well, didn't he have a secundo?
No.
Because I thought he had
one
two.
son. No,
No, you know, that's all he
he
had.
only had one son.
He didn't want to come up with an original name. So I gave him, call him Primo,
He only had one.
which means number one.
But
But I
they-
didn't
they-
remember, growing up in Pullman, which was mostly Italian. I didn't remember any gangsters or hoodlums
No,
down
not
there
here.
where we
Oh,
live.
Not here. That was probation was just about over. You
Yeah.
were born probation. What year was it over? 32.
33. 33.
I was born in 34.
Well, that's what I mean.
No, but when you see all the movies like The Godfather and et cetera, that's all about the 40s and 50s and 60s,
They
about
had-
the mafia families. I don't remember running into anybody like that.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was
I know.
over by the time you were born. We had a lot of that when we were kids at home, because they even hung a couple of guys down in the courtyard.
They hung him. Who hung him?
Well, the sheriff.
The sheriff hung him.
Yeah,
The sheriff hung him?
yeah, they were.
You didn't see it, did you?
But I didn't remember any hoodlums.
Yeah, we had.
Yeah,
we
that was,
didn't anywhere.
There probably were. I just
Yeah.
did they have bookmakers and
Bookmakers, you know Nello.
yeah, I remember Nello.
His family was all that bootlegging business.
Yeah, they were in Portland.
They were all bootleggers.
Well, so was my dad. My
And
dad
so
used to
that
sell
dad-
wine.
Yeah, but they weren't ever part of the mafia or
Oh, no.
organized crime or anything
No,
like that.
he used to just
I mean,
sell
they all
wine,
did on their own.
wine on the farm, and
Yeah.
he used to have bocce tournaments,
Yeah,
bocce ball tournaments.
yeah.
And Nona used to cook, and the men used to come and play
And,
play
and, the,
bocce. And
and the three girls used to dance with all the guys.
dance
Bjorn
with
did
the
a lot of
guys.
dancing then.
So they
Good dancers.
spend their money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Work up a sweat, need another drink.
Yeah.
Last time we were over at your house, you were telling us what it was like to come over, to this country. What was it like once you, to come over on the boat and go to Ellis Island? What was it like on the boat in between?
Well, we left Hungary and went to Germany.
On the
That's
boat,
No,
No.
with the train.
a train.
And in Germany, we took a little boat from Germany to England.
Mm-hmm.
And I never was so seasick in my life about night. It was night in the boat.
You're going over the English Channel, yeah.
Going like this and that and that. And I was just so sick. So we got to England. And we stayed there 3 days and we got on a big ship, Aquitania.
Mm-hmm.
Four Chimney, the biggest ship that it was at that time. And the first night we got in there, we just got sandwiches, nothing to eat, a little snack. Next morning I got up, the guy says, because the men were in a different compartment than the ladies, So my sister and my mother was in that one, and I was with some other guys in another compartment. And they says, come on, have breakfast. Next morning. So I got up and dressed, and the other guy dressed up, and they walked us in the dining room about 4 times longer than this little table set. There was everything. Peaches, oranges, ham, bacon, eggs. I never seen so much food in my 12 years.
Yeah, this is coming after a corn.
From eating corn.
After the
Eating
war.
corn on the
Yeah.
stove
Right
for a
after
week,
the
right?
war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I looked at that, I said, my God, I said,
Heaven.
The promised
Heaven.
land.
so I got my fill, and they were looking at the hard-boiled egg, I'm sticking in there, and a piece of cake over here, in my shirt, all over. And I take it in my cabin, and I put it in my bed, So I didn't think that would last forever.
Yeah.
So the next day I got up, we went for dinner, the same thing, all the food you wanted. So the third day they clean our room, the sailors, they go through the room. So the sailor went through my bed, and he seen all them eggs and sandwiches and
What a mess.
underneath the mattress, So he tried to talk to me, and I don't know what was it, Polish or German or what, and I didn't understand him. So finally, a Hungarian sailor come down and says, asked me, what's the trouble? I said, I don't know what he's talking about. So he asked him. He said, ask him what he's doing with all that food in it. So I told him, I said, I got food yesterday, I got the day before yesterday. I want to save it for after a while. When we get there, I want to have the food. So he says, never mind. He says, you get plenty of food, in New York when you get there, So I quit taking the food because But oh, I never see so much food in my life.
No, I wasn't used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you feel going to America? Were you looking forward to going to America? Or
I was looking forward to it. Everything was golden. Golden carriage and golden roads.
That's what they thought over
Yeah,
there.
you know.
They
Because-
always say America was.
Roads are paved. with
Do you
gold.
remember seeing the Statue of Liberty when you came
Oh
down?
yeah. We landed on Ellis Island.
what did it look like? I mean, how did you feel when you saw the Statue of Liberty? Did it make you feel real excited, or?
It was unbelievable. I couldn't even tell you. When I seen the Statue of Liberty, I said, "Good God, we're safe now." Because in Europe, it was terrible, especially during the war. Jesus, we have half the time we start eat corn and pumpkin, corn and pumpkin cooked, pumpkin sour, pumpkin sweet, pumpkin every way you could make it, and cornmeal, polenta. We made polenta, bread polenta, pancake polenta, everything polenta.
Was it bad and sweet? No, you were, as far as food was
No.
concerned? No.
No, we were there in, what was it, 1912, 1913?
Yeah, well, years when in war though.
No, we weren't in.
No, they were neutral during it.
Also, yeah.
So you hit.
Because my mother said the same thing, you know. They used to send her out to watch the sheep and stuff, and they used to give her a slice of polenta and a few chestnuts, and that was her lunch. And they didn't have too much in Italy either.
So you landed in New York and then you came to Chicago.
Then we come to Chicago to my grandmother
How did you get there?
with the train.
Right.
Train?
That was your grandma Cherney, right?
Yeah.
Was your grandfather still alive? Or?
Yeah, I wrote about my life.
What was his name? I can't remember.
Henry
Henry.
Shirley.
Cerny.
Okay.
They live in Chicago.
Yeah.
They
My
lived-
grandmother was a midwife.
That's right.
There's a Hungarian population in Chicago. Is that where you settled?
No,
Your grandmother was Czechoslovakian, wasn't she?
Czechoslovakia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Cherney, I think grandma's is Czechoslovakian or Bohemian.
He was, I think he was Bohemian, she was
Bohemian,
Czech.
he was Czechoslovakian.
That's why there's
And he,
such a
she
mix.
was a midwife, and
She made a lot of money at that, didn't
well, she had 3,004 children born in Roseland. She took care of it, and there wasn't one dead.
Hmm.
Every one was alive.
she? 'Cause I remember.
So, who financed all this traveling back and forth?
In Europe,
Well, yeah,
No.
yeah, to Europe to get back to America, yeah.
His grandmother.
my grandmother sent my mother to Europe, and then after the war, she sent the money to us to come back.
So it was your grandmother who was the midwife that was
Yeah.
sending the money so you can,
Come
so
back.
your mom could go back and then bring you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, you were telling me one time she made a lot of money as a midwife. She
Oh,
owned a lot of
yeah.
apartment houses.
Oh,
and,
yeah. They made a lot of money and they put it all in the bank, and when the bank busted, they took all the
Oh,
money.
you're kidding.
Oh.
Well, that's where my dad lost his money
Oh,
too. Three
everything.
different banks.
She had about, that time she had about $500,000 in the bank.
And that was a lot of money in those days.
a lot of money now.
Yeah. But, in those days, it was a whole lot of money.
That's like having $5 million today. She lost every penny of it.
Did she really? What year was that?
No wonder some of them.
What was that,
went up.
29?
29.
When the,
When the stock market crashed, the banks all.
No wonder so
Yeah.
many of them jumped out the window.
yeah.
Well, I remember.
My dad had
Dad lost
money in
money.
three banks, and he lost his money. He got percentage out of one or two of them, but it's very
Didn't
little.
amount to too much.
My grandmother didn't get anything. Then she had 3 houses. 124th. She had one of them my aunt lived in, and one she rented, and one they lived in. 3 bungalows. And when she died, the 3 sisters started fighting. No, I want this, I want that. I'll take you to court. That it. When they got through, there was an empty lot next to the 3 houses. They got about $1,200. Everything went.
Everything went to the lawyers fighting over the property.
Lawyers fighting. No will.
Because I remember that they didn't talk to each other.
No.
This is your mom, great grandma Schuster, and her 2 sisters.
Because I remember Grandma Schuster used to say, "Go tell my sister she looks nice."
Martha or,
Yeah. And I'd go up to her and I'd
Josie.
say, You know,
Grandma says.
Grandma Valerie says you look nice. Well, tell my sister she looks nice, and you'd go back. They wouldn't talk to each other after they got in that
But
argument
still
over
they
the prop.
complimented each
Yeah.
other.
Oh yes, but they just wouldn't talk to each other after they blew off that money.
For the longest time.
They-
They got to be old before they start talking to each other.
Yeah, they had 3 brand new brick bungalows, you know.
That was worth a lot of money though,
Oh, yeah.
too.
They lost all that.
Who was Uncle Conrad? I remember him.
That was Auntie Joseph's husband.
Okay. He was a nice
He
guy.
owned a tavern. He's the guy that died at 90.
Yeah,
something.
he was a heck of a nice guy. I remember him from, you know, some.
And there's a guy that he had, when he was 21 years old, he lost one of his lung, you know.
He lived to be 90?
And he had one
He was
lung.
94, I think,
He had one
when he
lung.
died. Your dad
And the
was.
guy
Huh.
drank all the whiskey he could get a hold of. You know, well, he was a bootlegger
That
in
was
the
when he
ba-
was younger.
in
Like,
a basement, you know.
Right.
The guys used to come and drink beer and whiskey, and he used to sell it to them. But he drank more whiskey than anybody, and he worked on a streetcar. He was a motorman on a streetcar. And when he get through the streetcar, when he would run to 119. So from 119 to 124, there'd be 7, 8 these basements, you know. He'd stop in every one of them. When he get home, he'd be paralyzed. He lay down and go to work. The
See what-
next
See what clean living will do for you? You live to be 94.
he
Bound
lived
himself.
to be 94. He was one lung. Yeah.
tell him what your dad did for a living. Your real dad.
Yeah.
He was a mechanic.
They didn't know.
What kind of mechanic?
He was the first guy that invented a packaging machine where they put Kellogg.
Ah. Did he work for Kellogg or
No, he worked for a different firm, but he invented the machinery
that put it on?
that put the box.
So was he a machinist or an
Yeah,
engineer?
machines.
Oh.
Did it make
In
him
Chicago?
rich?
No, them
Oh,
days.
the company took the patent.
Company took the patent in those days.
You
yeah.
work for the company. If you invented something, the company took the right. You know.
You
That,
got a bonus, and that was it.
Well, your dad stayed in Roseland, didn't he?
yeah.
Because I remember he used
He
to live
lived
somewhere.
102nd Parish.
But he lived somewhere close to where we did when we
Yeah.
lived in Roseland.
Did you ever contact him? Didn't
Did
you?
he ever contact you?
No.
Did he ever make
He
you feel
went,
bad?
he went and talked to your dad when he was playing football.
Yeah, one
And,
day,
one day,
when I was practicing football, this guy came up to me and he said, "Is your name Pallay?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Well, I'm your grandfather." And I said, "No, my grandfather's name is Schuster." And he said, "No, your grandfather's name is Pallay." And then he turned around and walked away. And he, that's the only time I ever
High
saw.
school?
Yeah, and they only lived about 3 blocks away from where we
Where
lived.
we lived.
And we never saw each other.
Would-
My dad's grandpa's real
Was
dad.
the split with him and Grandma Schuster that severe? That
Well, when my mother split with him, she got a divorce, and the court gave my mother so much money from him, you know, for taking care of my sister.
Child support.
And never sent a penny.
he never sent a penny.
Never heard from him. Never wrote a letter.
Oh, so he never tried to contact you?
No.
No. as I said,
So when
Is that why they split up? Because they just didn't get along together, or
no, that was I don't know what was the difference there.
yeah?
That was before I was a year old, so they must
Oh.
have had trouble before then already, you know.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what but he didn't send us no money. And when I got over this country, I made up my mind, if he ain't gonna try to see me, I'm not gonna see him.
Uh-huh.
You know,
See-
because he didn't wanna take care of us, and it was his place to, well, if he wanted something, you know, well, I'm sorry I done this or that, but never. So I disowned him altogether.
What was his first name?
Pallay,
John.
John Pallay.
John.
John.
Because you look in the phone book, there's a few.
Yeah.
There
Quite a
was
few
a
Pallay.
Michael, there was a Michael, you remember?
Living out in
There was a Michael, there
Chicago
was a
Heights
John.
And,
So did he remarry
Yeah, he remarried.
Yeah.
and had another family?
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, when he remarried, you know, I found out. I said, what would be any good if I tried to butt in? He got his own other family. Leave him alone, you know.
And like I said, he only lived 4 blocks from us. If he wanted to come by, he could have.
Yeah.
Well, when we moved up there, that when I went over to the butcher shop, and they said, "Gee, are you any relation to that Pallay that lives on Second?" I didn't know. And,
Well, when
didn't even know.
you came to Chicago, where'd you live at first?
124th, Michigan.
Was that a place your grandmother
Yeah.
got for your mom?
No, that was, she had a great big house on 124th. Someday I'll take you by there. It's still there. It's a long lot and a great big house. They had 7 bedrooms,
Oh,
a dining room, and a kitchen, and a basement. And so we went to live with my grandmother.
so you lived there.
Yeah.
When did Grandma meet Grandpa Schuster? Yeah, that's the grandpa I remember.
Oh, well, she met him.
How old were you?
Oh, I was about 26.
14?
What?
14?
26.
Oh, come on, 26, you were married. Your mother had married Grandpa Schuster long before that. You were 14 or 16.
No, I
Well, you
was
came back here when you were 14, right?
I come back when I was 14, and that's 2 years after she met.
Yeah.
She married Grandpa
Back.
Schuster.
But I worked out in Flossmoor in a country club.
Right.
I was a busboy, you know, carrying dishes out. And I was getting $45 a month and boarded room. And I used to send the $45 home to my mother because she wasn't married yet,
Right.
to take care of my sister and her. And
And your mother was a dressmaker.
and she was a dressmaker.
Yeah, she was a good sewer.
And I stay out there, and I go out. I used to work in a bakery. I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, get everything ready, and 10 o'clock I'd be done till 6 o'clock at night.
You always had plenty to eat, working in
Yeah.
the kitchen, right?
But then I go out and caddy, you know,
Uh-huh.
from 10 to
During
5, 5:30.
spending money, yeah.
I make 35 cents for 9 hole.
35 cents?
Yeah.
You could buy a lot in those days with 35 cents.
What do you do with 35 cents?
Ask Uncle Al what one of the guys, big spender, gave him one time. 18 holes. 5 cents and a stick of gum.
Oh, jeez.
Big
I
spender.
used to make about 90 cents for 18 holes. I caddied
When you
Joe was-
caddied, Grandpa?
Same time Joe was out there, I was
90 cents?
Yeah.
Can't even give you an even buck.
85 and 90 cents.
Hey, when we got married, Grandpa was making $16 a week.
And I was only working 6 months out of
And
the
he
year.
worked 6 months.
That's Sherwin-Williams.
Where'd Grandma meet Grandpa Schuster at? Because he was divorced
Wasn't
or
he-
widowed.
Wasn't he friends with your grandpa?
You know, he was a widow, and my grandfather had a friend that used to come and see him, you know, to drink wine and whiskey. Everybody was in bootlegging.
Remember, I had a lot of booze moving around.
Yeah, evidently.
So this guy started going out with my mom, see? And she was going out for about 3-4 months, and the Schuster was a friend of this guy. So one day they met. The woman Schuster said, "The heck with you, I'm going to ask her to marry me." So she married Schuster. The guy was out of luck.
Grandpa Schuster moved very quick, huh? I remember him. He used to, he was a wood maker,
Yeah.
refinished wood and
Yeah,
Cabinet.
cabinets.
Yeah.
Remember, he used to do beautiful work.
he used to. Well, he learned his
Worked in a
trade.
phone shop.
No, he was a piano finisher.
But I mean, he did work in a phone shop.
Piano finisher. You know how them pianos,
Oh, yeah.
how shiny they used to be. And he finished them. Then later on, he got a job in Pullman.
I remember even when he was in his 70s,
Yeah.
the stores used to call him the
Yeah.
refinished
He
wood
worked at People's Store.
because nobody knew the art anymore of how
Yeah, right.
refinishing. The union, I think there were 4 guys in his union left, and he was the youngest one. He was 75, and they were still calling him to do refinishing.
Well,
I
he,
learned a lot of tricks from a guy in Rosen, Butch Kunline. Did you know of him? He was a,
A refinisher.
his father used to work for Pullman doing all that inlay work on
Oh, yeah.
on the
Same-
Pullman cars.
Same type of work.
yeah, my dad actually when he was later on, when he worked for the people store, with the furniture, you know, we get a nick in there, or he,
The refinisher.
he burned that in, you know, with wax, and rub it with pumice stone, and then he matched the color, just like new.
How'd you get along with Grandpa Schuster? You like him?
God, I like them.
Right? All the kids used to like him.
Oh, he,
What did you call him? Did you call him Dad?
Dad.
Did you?
That's actually that's the only dad I really knew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you call him Grandpa?
Yeah, Grandpa Schuster. People used to say, "What do you mean, you're Grandpa Schuster?" I said, "Well, that's the only Grandpa I knew outside of Mom and Dad." He used to,
And you used to call my dad Nono.
yeah, and
No. Is that Italian for
that's
something?
Italian for
That's
grandfather.
grandfather,
And
and
Nona
How do
is
you
grandma.
say it?
Nono and Nona.
And,
Nona.
It's different in Swedish too for grandma and grandpa.
Yeah.
Grandpa Schuster, there was a local theater called the Roseland Theater that always used to show the cowboy movies and the cartoons and things.
And cereal.
And there was a row called Grandpa Schuster's Row because every Friday he would take all his grandkids up because he loved cowboy movies. I mean, this guy was nuts about cowboy movies.
Oh, God.
And he'd
Lone
take
Ranger.
all of us, even
Valerie and
even kids who weren't his grandchildren, like Richard and Irvin.
Well, he always thought of them.
Thought of all of his
more or
kids.
less.
He'd march 9, 10 of us up there, and we all sit in Grandpa
And pay for
Schuster's row.
everybody?
Pay for everybody.
yeah, I'll
Pay for the
put a dollar to
popcorn.
Get the whole line.
Yeah.
You get the whole row.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it might cost you $1.
Yeah, for 10 people.
I can remember toward the end of his life, he had hardening of the arteries, and he was losing his hearing.
Yeah.
And you'd walk in the house, and TV had just come out then. He'd have the TV here watching the Lone Ranger, this close, and he'd have the sound turn a full blast because he couldn't hear it.
Oh.
He'd walk in the house, it was dun 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 dun. And he'd try to anybody talk in the house, and he didn't care. Out,
Hey,
it's my house.
listen, when we lived with them, we stayed in that front bedroom, and he had the radio.
Right.
And the Lone Ranger, loud as he could go, and you slept through it all.
I got used to it. I grew up with the Lone Ranger.
Oh,
But he really
Yeah.
loved his cowboys, and he took his grandchildren and anybody he thought it was his grandchildren up there. Real nice old man, and a very authoritarian though. I remember him. When Grandma Schuster got a line, when he put his foot down, that was it. I mean, he'd take so much for so long, and then Grandpa Schuster say, "That's it," and it'd be all over.
How did you get along with Grandpa's mom and dad?
I got along with his dad
Really?
better than with his mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Isn't it true?
Yeah.
I got along real well with your dad.
Yeah, everybody got along with Grandpa Schuster pretty well.
What about with Grandma's mom and dad?
Oh, I got along.
Well, he got along because they talk Italian and he didn't understand.
And also, for 3 months out of the year, they had a free, or 3 weeks, a free mule. All right, every
Well,
summer.
Him and Geese do
Yeah,
go
every
down.
summer when it was time for, you talk about vacation, Grandpa used to love to get back to work.
Oh,
Because we'd get in the car,
Go down the
we'd
farm.
pack all of our, it looked like something out of Tobacco Road. We'd have tires strapped to the car, all over the car, luggage all over, kids hanging out, and we'd head off down there.
Yeah.
And these guys would get down there with my 2 uncles and my dad,
No, just Geese doing that, Elm and us, not
Yeah.
Manuel.
and they'd get in the middle of hay season.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they'd spend their 2 weeks vacation out
And
there
so did I.
cutting hay, baling hay. I mean,
Oh,
they
you're
worked twice
kidding.
as hard
Yeah,
as they
and-
did at work. This was our vacation.
Why did you do it?
Well, somebody had to help them. Well, what are they going to do?
I mean, they were too old to do the work themselves, and the kids had all grown up. So all the kids,
They were all gone.
they came down there, and
that's the way people were, that way.
We never took any other vacation except go home until my mother and dad moved up here.
out the farm, and
We
they
went there every year.
Yeah, I had a 28 Chevrolet, and we go about 45 miles, you know, that was
Yeah.
top speed. And pretty
Lucky
soon
if we went 45.
somebody peeped the horn back. I mean, just about the time we had a little party for it. He was a little young yet, you know, he made a parcel, and just about the time he's coming, I slung that thing down. All over the windshield. A Cadillac.
a revenge yacht. Remember that when Adam will give you a weapon you didn't know you had.
And,
Cadillac.
yeah.
Well, what
he-
roads do they have going down south? I mean,
Oh.
Well, there were just a 2-lane.
They were 2-lane
We
roads.
went through
Was it-
all the towns.
yeah.
Listen,
Sure, you see
There's
the
no-
roads on the expressway Paxton, and Arcola,
Yeah.
Tuscola. You went
You
right
went through all those
of them.
towns. There was no expressway.
That must have taken 10 hours.
Minimum.
Yeah.
You left
be
here
double
at
time.
6 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and we get out there 300 miles, 12 o'clock that evening.
Oh.
Well, that was the one time we went to.
No, that wasn't
Springfield.
one time.
Yeah,
That's the
and we had
time when we,
trouble.
when we had trouble, a flat
With
tire
the
and
3 flat tires.
Can you believe it? We went down one year when we had bad tires. My dad had 15 bad tires strapped to the car, right?
Lord.
We didn't have a blowout.
We didn't have nothing.
2 years later, we go down, Dad's
Good
got
tires.
4 new tires. We had 3 blowouts with the new tires
With the new tires.
going down there.
In those days, you had about 60 pounds of pressure in them. too.
Oh,
Yeah, you had
yeah.
those inner tubes, you remember?
And you pull over the side. Kids don't even know about inner tubes anymore.
No, they had inner tubes inside and they'd patch them.
Oh,
So we had one flat tire. So while he put the other one on, you know, the spare.
Yeah.
So we thought, well, we'll get to a gas station. We didn't get that far. He had another
Another
flat
flat
tire.
tire.
So then he had to roll the tire to the gas.
I mean, it
It's
was.
gonna hurt your mileage.
I mean, it was a wicked. I remember we used to get there about 5 or 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Because I remember Grandma and Grandpa would always tell Uncle Al and I, it's one more look. Remember?
One more look.
One more look. And we'd go over a hill and they'd say, one more look.
I remember that phrase.
That,
We
you
used to go
remember
to
that story?
Yeah.
Aunt Lena's cottage,
Yeah.
and that's all we ever heard was one
Fishing
more
place.
Yeah.
One more
one
look.
more look.
And I kept waiting.
And look for the
'Cause
white
it all-
horses.
and
Yeah.
look for the white horses to get a nickel.
We used to go over these hills and I'd go over a hill and like, one more look, and that was it. And then we'd, finally come trudging in there. Yeah, and we come piling down there. We had all sorts of cars in those days. What kind of cars did you have before you got married?
None.
I
Yeah,
had
we-
no-
You
We
had
were-
a little whippet.
I had
A little whippet they
and I had a
stole.
Ford.
You stole?
They
Yeah.
stole his little whippet.
Oh. They stole your. What was the
You
whip
stole?
like?
Yeah. Somebody stole
That's a-
it.
that was a-
American Motor.
It was a racy sports car in those days.
Yeah, a little bitty.
I had a convertible, a top turned down, you know,
Uh-huh.
rumble seat.
This car would go about 85 grand now if you had one.
Yeah. And
Is that the one
Never
you always
found
said
it.
that you could take the engine out with like ice
Yeah,
pick or something
yeah.
like that and
Lift it out and
fix it and then
fix it, then
put
put
it
it
back?
back again.
they never did find it.
That was. Didn't you say it was like a 12
Cylinder?
12-cylinder car? Or
That was a
Oh,
Buick.
that wasn't a Buick, that was a Stutz.
Oh, you had a Stutz Bearcat too.
Yeah.
That was another sports car. So you had a few cars before you were married.
The Stutz, it used about 3 miles to a gallon of gasoline, so
12
So
cylinders.
did our Buick.
Yeah.
So we used to get all the boyfriends together, and if you go these gas stations that close, you know, they used to pump the gas with a handle, you know,
Mm-hmm.
The crank, yeah.
by a crank, you know. And when the guy say fill it up, they fill it up, and the hose will be full of gas, see, and they hang it up. So we used to drain all the hoses.
You know, the gas stations that were closed.
Grandpa,
Yeah, all the hoses.
that's illegal.
That wasn't illegal.
It was closed, right?
That was closed.
Hey, when you get 3 miles a gallon, you got to get gas somehow. What did gas cost a gallon then?
About a nickel, right?
We used to get
I don't remember
five
when it
gallon
was
for
15.
80 cents.
Okay.
I remember
Yeah.
when it was 15, and then they used to get
it was
give
5
you
gallon
eight
for
glasses.
$1, and it kept on going up.
Until yeah, and still does, right?
It used to be about, my brothers, if I remember right, used to go and ask for 35 cents worth of gas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That,
I used to remember- I remember
that
used to-
wasn't unusual.
Even I remember getting $2 of gas and it used to be half full.
Yeah, and then you
Yeah.
used to get a set of glasses with it.
Yeah.
It probably was half full when it was 35 cents too.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, we used to get glasses, and what was that stuff they used to have in the soap boxes? Then they used to have plates and
Oh,
towels.
there was a one kind of soap. They
Yeah.
had towels in it they used to buy.
Tell them about the giveaways and bingo and vaudeville stuff they used to have at the show.
Yeah, they once a week they gave you a plate, so you went every day, every
Yeah,
week.
dish night,
Yeah.
Thursday night or something was
Yeah.
dish night.
That's how everybody got their first set of dishes.
Yeah.
Am I going to vaudeville shows?
Well, you go,
So
you
they
go,
had a vaudeville and a movie.
you had vaudeville and a movie, but you'd go every
And
Thursday
probably
night.
25 cents, and you got a plate.
and you'd get you'd get a plate, and you go 8 weeks, and you have 8 plates, and then they give you 8 cups, and so you'd go every Thursday because you'd want to make your complete set of dishes. And that's how you would get them.
You got some of those dishes, yeah?
No,
Yeah, those flowers?
I don't have any.
Yes, you got some of
You
them.
still do. I saw one.
Yeah,
You do.
You got
I
one,
remember.
I tell you.
Yeah, I remember.
No, I don't have any more. I did have them until not too long ago.
Well, you must
I
have
don't know.
thrown them out.
I think I sold them at Julie's garage sale or something.
Grandma.
Grandma, gee.
Oh,
Oh, there was
tradition.
one of this and one of that, and cracked and chipped and everything else.
And I'll tell you, shopping in those days used to be a lot of fun, because you guys aren't, used to it, but, the women had to go shopping every day. Number one,
Because
for
you
meat.
had, yeah, well, you had no
Because you had no
refrigeration.
refrigerator, you had the ice box, right? And then I remember the vegetable man, they used to have trucks that came down the street
Yeah,
every
and
day.
fruit.
And they would have fresh vegetables and fresh fruit, and the women would go out on their porch, wait while the truck came by, and then.
it's like the good humor man.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, he come too.
You buy your
come
food
too.
on wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'd
That's
come
more
every day,
convenient.
because
Yeah.
you'd get fresh fruit and fresh vegetables, and then you'd go to the grocery store and buy your meat for
And
the
the
day.
butcher to get your meat.
Yeah, and you'd have enough ice to keep it cold
Yeah,
for
but
one day.
This ice cube, how could it keep? I mean, like, would you keep your pop in there and your
What
beer?
pop? What beer?
Really have
Who
a
could
pop
afford
in beer?
pop and beer?
You had pop then.
No, I was glad I bought milk for the kids.
Well, what would you put in your refrigerator?
Well, you put your fruit and your meat
your
and your milk.
margarine in
Yeah.
there.
And one ice cube would keep it cold.
Not an ice cube.
It's a
No,
50, it was 50
Ice
pounds.
block.
A block.
It would keep it cold.
Well,
I mean, like cold like a refrigerator.
no.
But it would keep it from spoiling. That's all you wanted to do, is to keep it
Spoiling,
from
that's why
spoiling.
you
Would you
didn't buy.
chip it to put it in water or something to
That-
make it
If you
cold?
want to go water, you chip it.
And you had the pan underneath.
Pan underneath.
Yeah, like a Jackie
How
How often
Glazer.
would you have to dump it out?
Every morning.
Well, depending on how warm it was outside.
Well, besides that, you had the box on the windowsill.
Oh,
Oh,
in winter
that's a
time.
box?
In winter time,
What
sure.
What was that?
We build a box on a window,
Yeah.
outside of the window, where the stone is.
Okay.
We build a box outside, and we open the window and put the food in there.
And it's winter times, so you don't have
Took
to buy
advantage
it.
of it, huh?
Douglas, these are gonna be all the same stories we're gonna tell, so you might.
Oh, no, you got a whole bunch of different ones.
It can't be different.
And in
Oh,
those days,
we were born in the same area.
Sure, they're
About the same thing.
in those days, you also had,
Iceman, the Iceman, the coal man,
That was
Yeah.
that was a profession.
pots
being
and
a
pans
nice
man, and
man.
the
Ice
dry goods
man.
man, all came with
Yeah,
wagons.
we used to put out a card and tell them how many pounds
You'd
you
have
wanted.
50 up here,
Yeah.
25 here, and 100 and 150, and you turn the card where
Which
you
I-
wanted.
Yeah.
So then
the Iceman came down the alley,
Iceman comes down.
and he'd stop, and he'd take out,
on his
Sure,
shoulder.
that big old thing.
well, you'd
Yeah,
see
on
pictures
the
of Red Grange with
Red
it.
Grange.
Well, he was-
The
I
Wheat
was-
and Iceman.
Yeah,
On his shoulder, carry the ice in.
Now
Yeah.
the coal guy, what would Dad and Uncle Al have to
Well,
do?
we'd have to shovel it in
They
the,
would just dump a
bed.
bunch of coal?
Out
They'd
there,
dump it
on
out in the
A
street.
certain amount of pounds? Is that what you bought it by?
Tons.
Tons.
you'd buy a ton
you
of coal.
Could, you could have it shoveled in if you wanted to.
Well, that
but
was
it
extra.
Yeah, but that would
costs
cost
That's what you
more.
got two boys for, right?
So Joe was
Well, we did
working
it
and the
there.
boys and I did
Yeah.
it.
So they'd leave you the little wheelbarrow and shovels, and
Wheelbarrow and
you'd
we'd,
come up to the basement where the coal bin was, they call it
To
coal bin.
Yeah.
the
And
window,
you'd shove
we'd
it in,
dump it in
someone had to get inside the coal
and,
bin
and move the coal.
and move the coal around so it wouldn't pile up under the slot.
And the soot.
And yeah, you had to get in
Did
there.
you
and
make
pop.
Uncle Alvin do that?
We used to rotate. I'd say,
I did my share there.
for the first hour, Al would dump and I would move it around downstairs.
Oh.
And then we would rotate jobs.
Did you get in right?
Yeah,
5,
and
6,
then you,
7 tons
then
of
you
coal.
tell them that you were 10 years old, you wanted a TV, and you had to go
What's that?
sell newspaper.
Right. Yeah.
He was about 10 or 11, about 11, and
Yeah.
Uncle Al was 8.
So the
So they
trip
alternate. They went on a corner
Stood on
and
the
sold
corner and
paper,
froze to
so,
death and sold papers.
so they
to
could
get your first TV?
to get our
Yeah.
first TV.
What kind of houses did you live in? I mean,
Well, we lived in Pullman 10 years.
what was it like to live in Pullman? I mean, yeah, only thing I remember about Pullman is really Uncle Gisto's house.
Well, we lived in a 2-flat.
Uh-huh.
We lived downstairs. That was Grandpa Schuster's house.
Uh-huh.
And we lived
All the homes were either single houses like Aunt Alvin's, Uncle Gisto's.
Mhm.
and-
or 2-flat.
Or they were two
There's-
flats.
Mhm.
Two
Grandma
flat.
used to have
What
a
is
that means there was apartment on this level, another apartment upstairs. As a matter of fact, I remember Grandma and Grandpa Schuster used to have in the backyard a chicken house. They used to raise chickens.
And they made an apartment
And
out of it.
during the war, they made an apartment out of it. So Uncle Albert and Aunt Marge lived in one place, Mom and Dad lived in another place, and then Grandma and Grandpa Schuster lived in the chicken house.
Was it common for families to live that close
Well,
together?
you
all the time?
had to,
You had to
really.
share
You couldn't
expenses.
afford it too hard. You couldn't
And
afford
you
to
didn't
live
have
in
no
one house.
transportation to get anywhere,
To visit anybody. And
so they all huddled close together.
So your first 10 years you were in Pullman.
Yeah.
Then where'd you go after that?
On the third.
130.
Is that your first house by yourselves?
Well, no, we lived by ourselves because Grandpa and Grandma moved out to Hinsdale on a farm.
Oh, did it? Hinsdale?
Well, Willow Springs.
Willow
Aunt
Springs.
Marge moved to Hinsdale, and they
Know
moved
that.
to Willow Springs.
I knew you lived with them for a long time, yeah.
Not too long. No, we didn't live for that too long. About 2 years.
The first 2 years of marriage.
Yeah. That's all.
a couple of things you always remember about Pullman. Number one, I remember when I left Pullman and I moved to the other place, and we went to school, they didn't have a class called shower. And in Pullman, we always had a shower class. And I couldn't understand when we moved up to Roseland why we didn't have a shower class.
Did you go to Pullman School?
Yeah, Doug started
I
Pullman
started
School.
Pullman School.
I don't recall any showers when
Oh, yeah, we had a-
graduated from there.
We had shower class. Yeah. And
All the way from kindergarten all the way through.
He started kindergarten there.
I went from kindergarten to fourth grade.
Yeah.
And we had a shower class.
They updated after you
And
graduated.
Yes.
that was, and I remember asking someone why, and they said, well, a lot of the homes in Pullman still didn't have baths.
Didn't have beds.
Never. We went to
And,
Palmer
uh,
Park to take a bath.
yeah.
In order to make sure the kids got at least one bath or shower a week, the grade school would have shower.
Wow.
And you'd be, you'd look right on your schedule today. is
Well,
my
we
shower
had a
day.
tub though.
We had a tub in our place, but
Not a shower, but a
but
tub.
everybody, went and then took a shower as part of the grade school. In fact, the first shower I remember taking was somewhere where Uncle Albert was working. He was staying at a hotel and he let us take a shower because he had a shower in his room. It was,
Probably in Hoopston.
so I remember we were visiting him
I've been in Hoopston.
and he was
Hoopston.
and he was
You
staying.
passed there when you go down there.
I've been in
don't
there.
you?
I made
He
sales calls in
worked, he worked
Hoopston.
down there, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it was what a great thrill it was to take a shower. I'd never taken
How
a
could you
shower
not take a
before.
shower?
Huh?
No,
We didn't have a
they
shower.
didn't have any shower.
Didn't they have a thing? You just pull the thing and the water
You
falls
didn't
over
have
you?
nothing up
Yeah.
there. You
You
just
didn't even
had,
have a bathroom, a bathtub.
lot of them didn't have
What you need to get
bathtubs.
clean?
You
took a
sat in the
bath.
tub.
Put a
Bathtub.
galvanized tub in front of the
You heard the
school.
old country and western songs about the ring around the tub?
Yeah.
Well, you should see how that tub would look after I'd been playing out on the dust. I mean, it would be black. I mean, you got to really clean that thing down.
So then you, after the 10 years, you went to 103rd? You said?
Tell them how you surprised Mom with buying the house.
Well,
Yeah.
we had an argument.
Well, that's unusual.
Unusual. So unusual for you,
No.
Grandpa.
No,
No.
she wanted to buy a house in Pullman. And I said, I don't want a house in Pullman.
Why?
Well, all the
It was
relations.
too close to my relatives.
Well, yeah, that's right. So,
Some things never change.
one Saturday morning I got up, and I had the old car, I got in the old car, and went up Michigan Avenue, and I found a newspaper that, houses for rent, is for sale. So I seen a house at 103rd.
$2,500.
Wait a minute, Canada. So I went up to Canada and I says, you got a house for sale? Yeah, I got one of them, yeah. He says, I said, how could I buy it? Well, he says, $25 a month and $100 down.
Well, the whole house only cost $2,500.
Yeah, $2,500, see, $25 a month. So I said, well, let's go and see it. So I said, well, I could drive you around the place, but I can't go inside because the guy is working nights and he sleeps in the daytime. So we went down there and the house looked,
House looked like a dump.
outside
Yeah.
it looked,
Yeah.
Grandma.
it looked all right, see. So I said, all right, I said, I'll buy the place. I said, well, if I come see it inside, well, next week. Well, I said, I ain't got $100 to give you down. Well, I said, I'll give you a note for $100. the real estate and give me a note
You
for
give you the note?
yeah, to pay for the house.
The real estate
He
agent.
lent
He
us
lent
the
us the
down
$100
payment.
for the down payment. Like a
Wow.
bank would lend you the money.
So we got the place and I went after. I finally convinced her to come. She didn't want to go up there, but convinced her to look at the
You
place.
didn't want to go see it?
No, she didn't want. So I took her. We got inside, and the place didn't look. It didn't look good, but you know they had the furniture and everything around there. So I said, I'll fix it up. So
Let me tell you this, when he says it didn't look good, when you walked in the front door, you walked into the bathroom.
no. There
Yeah?
was a little hallway first.
There was the
There was
bath,
no hallway, there was a bathroom.
I can't believe.
the
Right.
front door.
It's not a bathroom, it was a
Listen.
wall.
Huh?
You walked in the front door, it's a wall.
You walked in the
Listen,
front
I was-
room,
listen,
right,
listen.
there was, right, you walked in there, right here was the bathroom,
Yeah.
right here.
You gotta walk
Door-
through the
Here was a
bathroom
bathroom
into the
wall,
living room.
and
No,
here-
no, you went down the
Here.
side.
You come in here, and here was a door.
No.
No,
I said you walked in here, right here was the wall from the bathroom. You went right around the side there and you went in the
there was
bathroom.
a door in between there.
No, what do
There
you
was
mean
a-
a door? A door from the outside and a door in the bathroom, that's all.
No.
Yes.
No, okay. Okay.
I remember the bathroom because I was a little
Yeah.
surprised myself walking in, the first thing there
In
was the
the front
bathroom.
room, here was a bathroom. Now here's a bathtub like this. The wall was built against it. And here was a toilet right against the bathtub. So you got in the bathtub, you had to stand up on the toilet and step into the bathtub because there was no room. Okay. Then there was a front door, or I won't even count the door there.
There
There was
was
a
a
front door,
bathroom door,
the bathroom door,
one door leading into the little bedroom, which
bedroom. There was
one
a
to
door
the
between
kitchen.
no, one door
the
between
front room, from the front room to the kitchen.
front room to the front room and dining room, then the kitchen.
Well, there was one from the front room to the
Yeah.
kitchen, then there was one from the front room to the
There's
dining room.
there's 7 doors, and one door going upstairs. 8 doors in a not
Little
big-
Cracker Jack house is 8 doors.
8 doors. So when we moved in, I finally started tearing it apart.
Now, is this the house I remember?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay,
that-
now the house I remember was really kind of big.
yeah.
well,
I
we
remodeled it.
added.
Grandpa,
Oh, okay. I'm
Grandpa
sorry. Go
tore
ahead.
it all apart.
So first thing I done is took the bathroom and moved it into the little bedroom downstairs.
Just move a bathroom. Just go ahead and do it, Dave. Yeah.
I
I was
moved
going
it.
to do that today. Yeah.
Didn't get the top.
He didn't do it just like that, David.
Yeah, I didn't.
25 years, the year before, or 26 years, the year before we moved, he finished.
Now, wait a minute, let me finish.
He always had new projects going.
Well, I put a bathroom in there. Then I
That
took
was the first job he did.
I took the door off in the dining room in the front room and made an arch.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Then the kitchen, we had to go out and go outside like this. So I built that enclosed porch,
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
and I put the washer and a dryer in there.
I remember that. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the kids were living in the attic, sleeping in the attic.
Glen Island with attic with the dormers like this, because we used to bump our head every morning. Just get up, thump.
Then I finally start working upstairs, so I built upstairs. I raised the roof, you know, and
Just raise the
dorm.
roof.
Just raise the
right
roof.
They
Yeah.
put the dormer.
raised
there. Sure. Why not? Yeah.
I made
Yeah, he did this all by himself,
3
really.
rooms upstairs, one bedroom was
Two big bedrooms,
Yeah,
two
oh, yeah.
bedroom.
I remember the bedrooms. Yeah.
And,
3
uh,
closets.
and a hallway, you know, for coming up, and a stairway going up, open stairway, took the wall out. Then just about when I got done, it was about, what was here, 2:30
In the afternoon, I
in
remember
the
that.
afternoon. She was working days and I was working nights. I'd be 3 o'clock down the shop. So I used to get the supper ready for her, you know. I peeled potatoes and all of a sudden I hear the fire department. Ding, 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 woo, woo, woo. And I, you know how the front room windows were like
Right.
this. I didn't see nothing. So some son of guns, house is burning down. And I keep feeling, all of a sudden, here comes a fireman with that hatchet. Bing, bang, bing. Tore the stairway down,
Oh.
tore the wall down.
The worst part is he put a chop in that banister, that
Yeah.
beautiful piece of wood you built.
Beautiful wood, split it in two.
Oh.
And that fire wasn't even there.
It was on the side.
Yeah. So
And how did you react when they came into the door? Did you know?
Well, I knew what then it was. I had a fire, but it was upstairs, going out through the roof. And
Oh.
downstairs, and it was an open stairway, so the breeze kept it going there.
Somebody had called the fire department.
Somebody
Neighbor,
called
I
the fire
guess.
department.
Somebody that saw the fire coming.
So there's a fireman with a big hose, water all over. Here comes Jen home from work. The sofa is flowing out the bedroom.
The rug was
The
a
rug
mess.
Oh, Jesus. She
The
starts crying.
ceiling started falling down.
Yeah.
The
Ceiling
plaster.
falling down.
Cry about.
Oh,
And-
geez.
and-
After working 8 hours, you come home and find that.
Yeah, I worked 8 hours and 8 hours in the shop.
Well,
So I said, well,
So did I.
don't worry nothing about it. I will fix it up.
What started the fire?
Wiring, was it?
in bed
They had a wire to light the hallway upstairs. And a wire coming up. But the wire was short, so they spliced the wire.
Oh.
Cable. But they didn't put the metal on it, so it just was a wire,
Oh.
Bare wire.
bare wire. And when
You didn't do this.
no, that was
The people
finished
before you.
yeah, well, whoever done it.
Uh-huh.
Well, just about that time they were putting 100 Thursday. They were taking the streetcar tracks out and they're putting white concrete all over it and pounding all the time. The house was all
Oh.
like that, and the wire up through and started a fire between the wall.
Oh.
Cut it off. Remember the friendly mice we had?
Oh, mice, rats.
Oh, rats when we first moved in. Then we got classy and we only had mice. We had one mouse that would only come out, remember when we had
We
guests?
had company.
If they had company,
Ugh.
you'd be sitting in the living room and all of a sudden this little mouse would run out. It sort of looked like,
He'd come and look, peek
who's
around the
visiting? I
corner.
want to see who's here. Oh, hi, it's the Johnsons. And he'd go, right? And they'd be screaming around chasing this thing with a broom. He would never show up again until the next company came over. Then the mouse would come out, right? Yeah.
Did you get him?
I killed a big mouse like that.
A rat.
A
That
rat.
was a rat.
How'd you do
That's
that?
a rat.
How'd you
Jack.
do
kill
it?
him with
That's
the-
not a mouse.
I killed him with the broom handle.
Did you really?
Do that.
Yes, I killed him in the corner.
Oh,
I was so mad because you could hear him. You remember when?
Well, it was either her or the rat.
One of them had to go.
Well, he kept me awake at night because he
No,
was
they-
running
they had
on
a-
that
Actually,
cool air
we've
chute.
been
cool air
through
chute,
that,
you know,
too.
it used to
Cool
be on
air
the floor, you know.
Yeah.
But when we first moved there, that you know
They
there
used
was
to have a
no
piece of tin over
foundation,
there,
and there was
the joist
all kind
downstairs,
of
so
rats
the
in
cool
there.
air would
I know
go
one
down
time
to
I
the
went
furnace.
down to go to wash
So
clothes.
that damn
Pure,
Rats
I was
come
going
up.
down and a rat was coming up and he didn't back up.
Oh, isn't that
Back and
awful?
forth.
Daring you to
Yeah.
do something about it, huh?
Why'd you do a mouse trap?
Mouse
We
trap,
did-
they
we-
eat the mouse trap.
We had mouse traps set. This night he kind of, I heard the trap and I jumped out of bed. And here he was running around the kitchen.
Yeah.
So I was so
Mouse
mad I
trap
took the
hit him on the
broom.
nose, but the mouse trap wasn't big enough to hold
Oh.
him.
So I took the broom and
These
I
original rats, you need a bear trap to go, I mean, to get
took
them.
that broom and I killed him.
How
in
about the one
corner.
that got stuck behind the kitchen sink?
Oh, that was a mice.
Yeah.
Rats, right?
What happened with that one?
That one smelled a lot.
You know, there's only about this much room between the wall and that
Oh, we
kitchen sink.
talking? Yeah, okay, man. Okay.
About this much room.
Between the sink
Huh?
and the wall.
And the damn mouse got between the wall.
Oh.
And couldn't
Oh.
go back and couldn't go down and couldn't go ahead. So it died.
And all of a sudden, you know, we'd have this terrible smell.
Figure
And
out
we
what it
looked
was.
everywhere for it. We couldn't find it. And particularly on days when it's hot, I mean, it smelled terrible. And this little mouse had somehow gotten into that crack, gotten down there and died. It was decaying behind the counter.
And I got rid of that, and then Uncle Al put that snake in his coat pocket.
Yeah.
Uncle Alvin was into snakes.
Yeah, he had, you know, it was empty prairie next to us. They had those little garters.
Garter snake, yeah.
So he stuck one in his jacket pocket. And there was a hole in his jacket pocket and must have crawled up his sleeve
Died in there.
and died in there.
Oh.
And we were in the closet, we could smell it, and I couldn't look through everything, couldn't find nothing.
Damn snake.
Put everything back and you could smell it again. Finally, we took piece by piece and I get this one jacket. And that,
That proved to be the rat, right?
Hey, what you doing? What you doing?
We talk about smells and talk about Pullman. Pullman, depending on where the wind came from, you either got the dumps
Sherwin-Williams.
or Sherman-Williams, right?
Sherman-Williams was the worst.
Oh,
that
no,
time,
oh, no, no. You were never there when they had the open dumps.
No? Well, Sherman-Williams
I mean-
was bad enough.
I mean, it used to get so
But then
bad,
they
you
had-
would cry.
Then they had to put the ventilation in Sherwin-Williams.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, one of the things I noticed when we moved to Roseland from Pullman was fresh air.
The air was a little cleaner.
Because I wasn't used to, in fact, I said to Grandpa, I said, something's wrong with the air. He said, what's the matter? I said, it don't smell. Because I was used to even getting one powerful odor or another powerful odor. I wasn't used to blah air. I mean,
How could you work at Sherman-Williams that long? How long? Like 30 years or something? Wasn't it?
40.
How could you
39 and a
stand
half.
smelling that air?
Not only the air, I used to mix asbestos.
Yeah?
You know, they say that's bad for you.
black lungs,
You know,
all the claims they had,
Mhm.
put John Mansville out of
I
business.
used to 600-700 pounds in a bag
Really?
and open them and dump them in a mill, go around and dust all over.
I used,
Do you just get used to it after so many years, Grandpa?
Oh,
It didn't hurt me.
he always, his breath always smelled of paint.
Really?
he used to also cough and hack a lot.
Yeah, well, that was
That was
cigarettes
smoking,
too.
too.
He was smoking.
But I used to work there in the summers, and
He worked there, so.
some of the jobs you'd get there were, you know, you'd have these big vats after the paint
Yeah, but
came
you
out.
didn't have it so bad. You used to have practice time and,
Well, for my baseball team,
Yeah.
I was it bad to be on the baseball team.
So how long did you live in 103rd then?
well, until we moved here in 1986.
Go back to the library.
No, not 86, this is 86,
1968.
68.
68.
68.
And by the time you left, if I remember that house correctly, it had like the huge backyard. You had your garden in it, the huge garden.
We had to put a fence.
A fence. It had, well, the whole upstairs was finished. 'Cause we used to spend the night over there all the time.
Grandpa put that
Yeah.
in. And he put all new flooring.
It was beautiful. open
Didn't you even
floors.
raise the
Yeah,
house?
I put the house was on wooden post.
We had that done around the,
You know,
we had a
I put
cement block.
the cement blocks. I helped the guy raise the house.
He put that in.
I helped the guy put a cement block and the cement around that.
Sorry.
One thing I remember about when you were working on the house, though, is when the Dutch Reformed Church didn't like it when you worked on
Oh.
Sunday,
Yeah, and they didn't like me hanging out clothes on Sunday either.
or Al and I playing catch on Sunday.
You know, 'cause
So they'd come by and they'd give you a fish eye. One time they came up, remember Grandpa's up on the roof. I mean, he is black and sooty and he's tearing up shingles with a crowbar. And they come up to him and say,
Lord,
it's the Lord's Day, you shouldn't be working. So Grandpa said, I'll tell you what, if you guys will help me on Saturday, then I won't work on
I'll
Sunday.
come down and
Yeah,
tell them.
yeah.
I said, come on in. They come in. I said, you come and give me a hand Saturday. I said, I'm working. I said, 12 hours a day. I said, and I gotta do something with this house. I said, you're gonna come and help me Saturday. I won't work on Sunday. So one guy said, well, we ain't gonna help you. And I had a double bell in the closet, you know. And I went in there and got it. I said, I'm gonna count to 3, and the last one out, I was gonna get it. Boy,
You
they
never
left.
seen you guys move so quick in your life. It was zoom, they were gone.
They never bothered me after that.
Yeah, Uncle Al and I used to stand out in front just throwing a football back and forth on Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, and all these cars would come by and these people would give us dirty stares out the door. And, you know, Uncle Al
Was this in
said,
Dalton?
no, it was in Roseland.
in Roseland. There
Yeah.
was all, a lot of
It was all
hollers.
Dutch Reformed because there were all Dutch Reformed churches around us, and they used to give us the,
Mr. Bass never said nothing.
oh, here's our next door neighbor. But I used to hate that one church Remember the bell rang every
Yeah,
Sunday morning?
Oh, yeah, I remember the bell ringing all the time. Yeah.
Dong.
We got a church now.
We got one now, the
Yeah, well, at 8 o'clock in the morning, I mean, it really was hurting on Sunday. You know, your sleep-in day, that bell would be gonging away. And,
Now, if you were working at night, Grandpa, and you were working in the days, when did you have time to do all this work on the house?
I work nights and I do the work during the day.
During the day?
Yeah.
We
Then I
actually, we
sleep.
actually try
Then-
to get along with about 5-6 hours sleep.
Then I go to work at 3:30 and come home at 12 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
12 o'clock I
11.
sleep.
Sleep until about 5.
5 in the morning, and I get up and work till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, go to work.
That's fine.
That was
you
the
know,
shift.
is-
tell
as far
them
as
about
travel.
when you were on swing shift. Tell them about swing shift. That was the worst one.
Swim shift. You start one morning at 7:30 to 3:30.
Next week.
Next week 3:30 to 11:30. Next week from 11:30 to
They all have
7:30 in the
the
morning.
on there?
Why'd you do that?
Well, everybody did.
Everybody there.
That's for hanging it up in there.
Everybody did that. They had to alternate.
Got to
There
take
was
your turn.
24-hour.
The factory was going 24-hour, and some guys, depending on your seniority,
Well, that's what
you got designated. If you got at least you got designated swing shift. That means whatever shift they needed someone on, they'd say, "This week, Joe, you're working from 7 to 4. And next week, Joe, you're working
Well,
from 4 to 12."
Grandpa actually worked nights for 11 years.
Yeah.
See,
Gee.
well, I didn't want to leave the kids alone,
Uh-huh.
so I worked days and he worked nights. I got home at 4. He left at 3:30.
Yeah.
We were Uncle Al and I were just coming home from school then. You know.
Yeah.
That's why.
Where were you working at?
I worked at the radio shop, the cleaners, United Cleaners at
On Cottage Grove.
95th.
Didn't you guys work there one?
97th County, 98. No, they worked at Martyrs.
Okay.
You remember at that time?
But that was just down the road from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a couple
United
blocks.
Air Cleaners.
Shoe supply?
Yeah.
No, but when at that time I worked at United Air Cleaners.
Oh.
But that was only 2 blocks down from that shoe place. that
Oh.
you-
Not far from there.
Yeah, that you guys worked in.
I started there in 43.
Uh-huh.
Because we didn't have no money to remodel this gem that Grandpa bought.
Grandpa's adventure. He bought it on his own. How about that, right?
I remodeled that, and how much we got for that place when we sold it?
16.5.
I bought it for
2,500.
and I got 16.5, and we lived in there how many years? About 20 years.
And you even got the
Oh,
realtor to
about
advance you your
25.
down payment, right?
Even the realtor advanced me the down payment.
He was probably so glad to get rid of that
But
turkey.
we paid it up in a hurry.
Yeah.
$25 though.
We were supposed to pay 25 a
Yeah,
month,
but
but
we
we
paid
always
50,
paid as much as we
50,
could.
yeah. We bought it on a contract. If we missed 1 month, the house was theirs.
Oh, gee.
You know.
Yeah, so that was,
Now, from the time, it just, it occurred to me that from the time, Grandpa, that you came over from the old country, and now, all the different things that you must have seen occur. And you've seen, radio, you've seen television, you've seen movies, you've seen, Man on the Moon.
Yeah.
All the different cars.
Yeah.
What were some? What are
Right
the,
now.
some of the most?
So take care, everybody.
Yeah,
Okay.
Bye, Dad.
Bye.
No, bye-bye.
What are some of the most memorable things that you remember? Whether it was a president or an invention or
No, the moonshot was the most.
seeing the people walk on the moon.
Moon. That was the most.
Yeah, you know what, I remember the most
what's that?
biggest advancement we had when my dad bought a truck.
Uh huh.
But before that, we just had to ride the horse or the buggy.
That's right. You had
I rode, right,
You were driving down. Didn't he have an old Model T or Model
Yeah.
A?
a new one, no, he
Yeah.
bought a new one.
New one. Driving around there.
Before
Model
that,
A.
I was riding the horse.
Grandma had to teach me to drive. Grandpa was the world's worst instructor.
Ah.
Right? And Grandpa had me.
Still
Grandpa
Still
had
is.
had me so shook up. He used to drive and watch me practice football, and then we'd come home and he'd let me drive home. He'd give me my driver's lessons
Because we bought the car, you were going to the prom.
because I was going to prom, and I was going to get the car for the senior prom. My first outing with a car. So I'd be driving, and he'd say, "Watch that car on the left, and watch that car on the right, and watch the one behind you all at the same time." And he'd say, "Signal this, signal that," and then he'd say, "Blow the horn." I go, "Toot toot." He said once. I said once, not twice. I mean, finally I'm making a turn. I remember at 107th and Wentworth, and he says, "Look this way and this way." And I'm trying to look at both ways, and I almost drove right in the window of the store. And I said, that's it. So we got home, I said, that's it, you can't teach me. I said, Mom, will you teach me to drive?
That's the same night you went out on your prom when you were.
No, that wasn't
no,
my
it
saying.
wasn't
I was
the
trying to
same
learn
time.
the cars so I could go out on the
Then I
prom.
had to teach him how to dance too.
Yeah,
so
teach
he
me
could-
how to dance.
Drive and dance, right?
I had to teach him how to
She
drive.
took me down to the dumps. Remember the dumps down there? The open dumps we're talking about? It was all- it was
103rd.
open- Yeah, open land. And you had a lot of room, you couldn't hit anything, and she
I mean, showed
showed me how to,
drive.
but she had patience. She wasn't trying to tell me 18 things at the same time. The grandpa had me, I mean, I could see I was this far away from driving, right in the middle of a store. I mean, I almost got it. Of course, cars then, you had the gear shift.
Yeah.
And,
Got the ship.
On the column, right?
We bought our first new car, so your dad could have a new car to
yeah, was it what, a
Chevy.
yeah, 48 Chevy.
Well, the year you graduated.
Yeah. We had some beautiful
51,
cars.
wasn't it 51 when you graduated?
52 I graduated.
I think it was a 51.
Yeah.
51.
Well, you had a 48 also
You got
Chevy.
51 Chevy.
Yeah. But
And you graduated 52.
some of those cars we had, God. I remember
Well,
that
before
one.
that, we always had used cars.
The one car I always hated was that Buick with the electrical
Oh,
yeah.
pump system. They had this Buick that would drive you anywhere you wanted, but would never get you home. We used to drive, we'd get to Aunt Marge, no problem. We'd have lunch or dinner there. We'd be driving away home, and about 2 or 3 blocks out from Aunt Marge's house, all of a sudden the car would quit. What did they have? Electrical
Electrical fuel pump.
fuel pump. The only one that ever made an electrical fuel pump of that time. And the car would die. And Grandpa would kick it and scream it. And we'd start walking, and that car would never get us home.
Uncle Al take us home.
Yeah, that car would never get us home. And
You said, earlier that you didn't take a vacation until after your.
After my mother and
Moved-
dad moved up here, we
Right.
moved them up here
Then after that, you traveled quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
every year.
Every year you went someplace. What were some of your favorite trips that you took?
Oh, I would say out to Utah, Bryce's Canyon, Yellowstone,
Out west, then you.
yeah, Colorado. I love that.
You drove out there all the
We
time?
drove.
What were the trips like driving?
Well, it was no air conditioning,
No air conditioning.
so when you went through a desert, it wasn't too.
It was. You felt like you were in a desert.
Yeah.
Right?
it was always a gypsy caravan. It would be them two,
Yeah.
Aunt Elma and Uncle Gisto, and Uncle Al and Cousin Rich, because I didn't want
You
any
didn't go-
part of it.
He went one time fishing with us, and he made us so miserable that I said, "You're not going no more."
And I said, good. So what they would do is, they'd leave me home, and they'd fill up the ice box, and they'd arrange for relatives to feed me, because I wanted to stay home and play ball. Anyhow,
You didn't want. You never. You went to any trip.
I never went on any of
You
the
went
vacations.
fishing. You went to Kankakee that one time.
Yeah.
That was our first vacation.
And I almost got drowned in the dam, right?
To try to save Al and
Yeah.
Richard.
Trying to save those two knuckleheads, I almost get killed, right? And then I went that one trip, and
Then we went to Wisconsin.
yeah, and that was, well, Wisconsin, the damn Indians. Now I know why we should have killed all the Indians.
Well, we went through the Indian
We're
reservation.
going through the Indian reservation, and we're dying of thirst, right? So you pull into the Indian trading post, and you'd say, could we have a glass of water? Say, no water, Coke. Okay, we'll take a Coke. So you drink a Coke, but see, the Coke wouldn't kill your thirst. And you go another 50 miles, and you'd be dying of thirst again. You pull in another Indian trading post, and you'd say, please, water. No water, Coke.
And they went through
I almost said,
line.
look, I'll give you $1 for water, because see, they wanted to sell Coke, and they didn't want to give away water to people who were thirsty. So from that point on, I stayed at home. Had some.
He didn't want to miss a baseball game. That was.
Well, I was playing with on 3 different teams during the summer,
that's
and
why
I'd
he
have a
didn't
game
want
at 9, and I would have a game at 12, and I'd have a game at 6, and I was playing hardball, softball, and 12-inch fast pitching, 3 different leagues, and we used to have some great adventures. One time, Grandma and Grandpa were gone. They left us some spaghetti to cook, and I had my buddies over, and we decided to be a little risque, and they said, how about a little Italian wine? And I said, I think my mom's got some, because I didn't drink in those days. So I went down, I saw something red in a bottle, and I said, here's some wine. And served them, and they said, boy, this is great. I said, well, what do I know about wine? So Grandma comes home, goes downstairs, she said, where the hell's the vinegar?
Where's my wine vinegar?
It was a bottle of red wine vinegar, and these guys were drinking it by the glass saying, that's good stuff, while they're eating the spaghetti. I mean, what did we know? Because we had never drank everything. We assumed that's what wine tasted like. They just poured it down us.
I was wondering, I don't have to talk about it. You've been through a lot of presidents, like, I don't know, Roosevelt or whatever. Who would be your favorite president that you think's done the most? No, Roosevelt. Did you like Roosevelt when he got out of the
I
Depression?
did.
Roosevelt
Whatever.
did a lot for us in our days, yes. Yes,
Is he your
because
favorite of all the ones that you've seen? Or been?
I think he did the most for us, the working people.
Mm-hmm.
Really, because nobody was working at that
Yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And at least he put in CCC and NRA and WPA, because there was no relief and no,
You could get
Food
no relief
stamps,
for food
nothing.
stamp on money like you do now. You get
Mm-hmm.
no,
800.
there
If
was
you got a
nothing
couple of kids,
then.
you get $800 a month.
See, that's why Uncle Gista went to WPA. My brother Louis went to CCC camps. Well, that put men to work.
Gave him some. They gave him two things.
Yeah.
They gave him some money to do, and they gave him a job. They didn't sit at home and become bums with
Yeah.
handouts. They were
I-
working for the money.
I think the first
Yeah.
2 years that Roosevelt was in there, he did a lot to help. I don't know. I always thought he never should have run for the third or fourth term. I think
Yeah.
he was getting senile.
Yeah, he was toward the end there. It was difficult to tell.
He didn't run the presidency after 3 or 4 years. His wife ran it.
I don't know, but he was senile at that time.
His wife ran the presidency.
Well, he was a very sick man too.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
he had the.
polio.
He was the one who started the polio campaigns and the polio stamps and things like that. He was,
He was a
interesting.
good president.
Yeah.
I said I think he did the first couple of years, or when he
Yeah.
first came in, he did a lot for because
Yeah,
nobody
first
could
4
find
years,
a job.
First 4 years, then he got senile. He went to Russia and
First 2 years terms.
Well, he died
was
in '45. Right just
Yeah.
before the war ended.
Yeah,
And
that's when Truman.
when Truman took over, who was his vice president. And
What did you think when Truman dropped the bomb on Hiroshima?
I
never
thought it was
should've.
inhuman. I
Inhuman.
really thought that was inhuman for
Did
me.
you?
Yeah, he never should have dropped it.
I don't believe in killing innocent people like that.
Is that how you felt then? I mean,
Yeah, I felt the same way.
did you?
Sure, you
I
look.
don't know, most of the people, as I recall at that time,
They
were-
wanted to end the war.
Yeah, but Jesus, why
But,
kill a civilian people?
Well, at that time,
I don't think they knew what it was going to
well,
do.
number one, no one liked Japanese at that time. They didn't worry about it because the Japanese had killed a number of American women and children, right? Number two, the army knew that we'd lose another million men dead if we had to invade Japan.
Well, see, Uncle Louis was over there in all those islands.
On those islands.
But he said after the first time,
Right.
they said surrender, and the Japanese come out with the white flag, so they thought they surrendered. They put down their guns, and the Japanese fired on them.
Yeah.
So he said after that, they never took a prisoner.
Yeah.
They just shot her.
It was a different philosophy. So the concept there was, I mean, you've heard about the prison camps they put all the Japanese Americans in during when World War
Over
II
here.
started because of the hatred of Japan and the bombing, and it was a very emotional thing. And Bataan Death March, and the Japanese were much like the problem we have with the Arabs now. They had a different philosophy of life. Life meant nothing to them, and it meant a lot to us. And they were suicidal. But when it got to dropping the bomb, it was a question of, do you kill 160,000 Japanese who everybody hated at that point, or have 1 million Americans either die or be wounded? Because the Japanese had absolutely refused to surrender.
Yeah.
And with their philosophy, they never would have surrendered. So it was a question of, is it going to be you or us?
Yeah, that's
But why did they drop the second one when they seen what it did?
Because after they dropped the first one, they asked the Japanese, will you surrender now? And the Japanese said no. They were willing to, at first they asked them to surrender before the first one, they wouldn't. They wouldn't surrender after the first bomb. And it wasn't until after the second one, because after the first bomb, the Japanese military hid the fact of what the bomb had done, because they didn't want the population revolting. So most of the population did not know about that damage. I remember I was writing to that one kid from Nagasaki, The Japanese kid, remember we wrote letters back and forth when Uncle Louis was over there during the occupation. But they didn't know anything about it. The government held it back for them. So, I think it's easy to say, from a humanitarian standpoint, should we have dropped the bomb, right? But put yourself in Truman's place. You have a choice of dropping the bomb and killing 80,000 Japanese, or invading Japan and have 1 million Americans killed. What are you going to do?
Why did they drop the bomb?
Where the soldiers were
The
instead
soldier,
of where the civilians.
They hit 2 military cities.
No, they-
Yes, they had two. Both cities had very high population of military and manufacturing.
So you thought that was a mistake anyway?
Mistake.
Right.
They should. Why did they drop it where the emperor was? Why did they drop it on a castle? They could have just as soon drop it on a castle.
Because if they'd have done that, the Japanese would never surrendered. Because you
they
got to
would.
remember, the emperor was their god.
Yeah, but after they demolished the place, they wouldn't be
If
there.
they killed their emperor, then they would have never surrendered, no matter what happened. But let's put it this way: what would you have done if you were Truman?
But I wouldn't pick on kids and women.
All right, well, then would you send make an invasion then and lose 1 million Americans?
Yeah. This war is war.
I don't know.
Well, war is war. Wars were kids too, right?
Yeah, they said that this country knew they were going to bomb Pearl Harbor.
No.
They didn't believe it. No,
Well, there were reports. There was a lot of reports that they might. Yeah, there was a suspicion of it, but there was nothing confirmed.
Why couldn't they be prepared?
That was But when they bombed us, no one said why we should be prepared. Everybody said the Japanese bombed us without declaring war. You remember how the emotions were when they bombed. I remember the announcements on the radio, and Roosevelt saying that this is a day that will go down in infamy, because up to that point you never had war without declaring war, and the Japanese had attacked and bombed us without declaring war.
Did you like Kennedy before he got shot? And did you think of
Well, I think Kennedy was overrated.
Really?
Really. I don't see where he did any good. I don't.
What about your favorite sport teams through the years?
Well, naturally, the Cubs.
Of course.
And the Bears.
And the Bears.
And are there any particular players or teams, any years that you really?
Well, sure, I like the year when they had Pafko, Tykai Kyler, Jurgensen,
Pat Malone.
Billy Jurgis, yeah.
Back
And-
alone.
Phil Cavaretta.
Yeah,
Pat Malone.
that we never missed listening to the game. We didn't have a TV.
Stan Hack.
Yeah.
And
What did you like about the team? Just,
Well, they were good.
they were
They
good.
won.
Okay. Good enough
They
for
were
me.
good at that time.
During the 30s and 40s, the Cubs always had good
Did you
teams.
used to go to Wrigley Field a lot? Yeah.
Not a lot, but we did go.
you used to go a lot. You
Used to take us on Ladies' Day.
I used to go.
with
We used to go for a quarter, Ladies' Day.
and I still always take care of the kids.
I went a couple of times.
Oh, a couple of times.
That's
Oh, jeez.
That's
Now
all,
you're
Joe.
a big liar.
That's all I know.
I wouldn't even talk to you.
No, I
You're
didn't.
lying now. A couple of times.
We used to take the kids at least once a year to the
Yeah, I
game.
remember.
Once a
That's
year,
what
and
we
you
used to
went
pack
about
the
7, 8
lunch.
times.
Pack a lunch with the
Remember us-
chicken and.
You know what they finally did? They took down our totem pole.
Oh yeah.
Remember
Where
we
you-
used to
where
always
you
look for the
turn.
totem pole. We
Where
knew it
you
was time to turn. Like last year, they took that totem pole down.
Well, we went a lot on the L too.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah.
You'd take a streetcar to 63rd and jump on the L, and they'd take you all right down to.
Yeah, we never could afford to go to a Bear football game
Oh no.
because those were always all sold out, and the rich people had all the tickets. So
Did you listen to them on the radio?
radio, and I remember almost going blind watching one of the first games on TV. It was the Bears playing the Cardinals when they were both good teams. It was 1947, and a friend of mine, I remember his name was John Hauser. Remember John was a big, heavy, and his dad worked at the bank, Pullman Bank. And they had one of the
They had
first
TV.
TVs in the neighborhood, but it was 3 inches. But in order to make it bigger to see, they had a magnifying glass you'd buy, put in front of the 3-inch screen. But when you watched on it, you would go blind because of the eye strain. And I remember,
Nobody put lights on either.
Yeah.
Art had one too. And we
Yeah.
watched Milton Berle.
Yeah.
That's about all they had in wrestling.
it was so bad in the beginning. We used to sit and watch the test pattern. I mean, it was so, because no one ever seen us before. We used to sit and watch the test pattern for 20 minutes. And then you'd have wrestling and
Wrestling,
And Molten
boxing,
Burl.
and
Milton
Berle and bowling.
Bowling.
I mean, remember my big dates used to be I used to take a girl out and bring them home for you to make a hamburger so Dad and I could watch bowling.
And bowling, that's about all they had.
Whispering Joe Smith, Joe Wilson,
And,
yeah.
and wrong leg.
Louis Campy, and Ned Day, and those guys bowling, yeah.
Bluth, Ray Bluth they
Ray
had.
Bluth, Weber was bowling then, Don Carter.
What do you think about the Bears teams and the Cubs teams compared to now? I mean, do they compare at all?
The football is different now than it used to be.
Uh-huh.
Years ago, a football game was it was hitting. If you got away, you were all right. If not, you were on a pile. That's all.
Uh-huh.
But now they got different plays, and it's altogether different now.
I don't know. I think it's just like in a colleges. Don't you think colleges are different?
Oh, yeah, well,
Football.
They've progressed, they've
grade
gone to
school.
more specialization. I mean,
But like when your dad played, he played on both sides, not only on
even when I
offense.
played in college, the first year you had to play both ways. Then second year they had some dumb rule which said if you came out in a quarter, you couldn't go back until the next quarter started. They were trying to get away from specialization. Finally went to straight specialization, so the game speeded up and got much better offensively and defensively. I don't think there has been much difference in baseball. The two big differences, I think, are black players and relief pitchers.
What do you think about baseball?
Well, they had a different type of ball too. The ball was much slower.
Well, no, not in the
When
30s.
Babe Ruth hit his home run, it was a real slow ball.
No.
Oh yeah, you better look it up.
It was a
Well,
lot.
they show it in slow motion.
Yeah.
That's
No,
why.
no. The ball wasn't as lively as the last 30 years or so, 20 years.
I don't know.
No.
He hit more home runs
Yeah,
than,
he hit
what
more
they do
home runs,
now. So
If Babe Ruth would have been hitting
The ball players were different too because the ball players weren't making any money.
No.
Yeah, that's
Remember?
right.
neither were the football
So the
players.
ball players, played because they liked playing
Yeah.
baseball.
They
I
got
think it was more
Yeah,
fun.
they seemed like they were closer
Yeah.
together, more rivalries, and you got to also remember there were only 8 baseball teams
Yeah.
and no team west of the Mississippi.
No, the Cubs were good at that time when they had
Oh.
all those players.
Well, they had Billy Herman and
Yeah.
Hank Wilson,
Hank
Collie.
Wilson, Rick Stevenson,
Charlie Root.
Charlie Root, and Gabby Hartnett.
Who was that guy that hit all that home run for him?
Hank Wilson.
Hank Wilson.
Hank Wilson, Bill Nicholson.
Hank Wilson.
Do you have a favorite baseball player? Do you think of your favorite all-time Cub baseball player?
I picked Charlie Ruth. I always liked
He
Charlie.
liked the pitcher.
He was a pitcher?
He was a pitcher.
How about Three Finger Brown?
Charlie Ruth lost more 1-0 game than anybody else. He pitched his heart out, and some guy hit a home run and 1-0 game.
I don't know. I used to like the infield because he always had the double plays. It
Yeah.
seemed like it was so easy.
They had good infielders. Stan Hack at third, and
Correct.
Herman and George.
I played baseball. Boy,
What position did you play?
anything.
Anything?
Yeah,
What sport did you like the most?
baseball.
Playing.
Play
Play
baseball.
baseball? Well, what were you, a long ball hitter, or? I had to get my ability to hit the long ball from somebody.
I was a long
Hey,
ball.
I used to play ball with Uncle Johnny. We used to play ball and play hockey with the stick in the can.
Yeah.
I think you got your sport ability from me because I
Ah.
played tennis, I played basketball,
That's
and I
right.
played touch football when I was in
Whoa.
school.
Ah.
Right.
Was she the athlete, Dad?
Oh,
And I rode the horse. And I rode the horse.
Uh-huh.
Can't you see?
Did you play much soccer
In the
in
open.
the old country?
Yeah.
But not over here. Over here, you like to play baseball.
Baseball. I was a long ball hitter, and I hit it.
Yeah, I was never that big, but for some reason I could always hit the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, lefty or right-handed.
What did you think having kids and then grandkids and then great grandkids?
What do you, what do you mean, what do you think about it?
I mean,
You didn't know any different in those days.
what do you mean you didn't?
You didn't know, well, I'm gonna have 2 kids or that. You didn't know what to do, not to have kids or to have.
What was your philosophy in raising kids? I mean, did you have? Obviously they turned out fairly well. I mean, what?
Yeah, because I was strict.
You're strict.
Yeah.
And he was
yeah.
easy.
I sure did.
I never hit any of my kids.
I hit them plenty when they
you?
didn't behave.
But
It's a good balance there, guys.
she used to get a hold of Doug, and Doug would say, "How come you hit me from the front? Turn around, bing, bing." She hit him right back.
She was mean with a broom. Mean with a broom.
I didn't hit you unless you had it coming.
I never said you didn't.
Mm.
I never complained.
I never mistreated you and always had plenty to eat.
No problem at all. Well, how do you think your grandchildren turned out?
They're wonderful. They're the best.
And now you got a great grandchild.
You can't ask for a nicer family than we got. Tell you.
So we say that a lot of times.
We've been lucky. We all stayed very close.
Yeah, we say that a lot of times. We're
Oh,
lucky.
Very close. Well, what do you think, Dave?
I think
It's
we're
a wrap.
I think it's a wrap, folks. Thanks very
Okay.
much.
Thank you.
Okay.
See, now that wasn't too bad, was it?
I don't know. I don't know what you learned that you didn't know before.
Well, we can look at it as the years